Hey everybody, welcome back to 13 Rings, an NFC East podcast. And much to our delight, guys, we are still have two teams in the playoffs here. Isn't that something? Isn't it? Look, I am.
Maybe to your delight, not to
look
mine.
At us.
Look at
thought?
us. Who would have thought? The Eagles and the Commanders. Maybe the Eagles, but I don't think anybody had the Commanders going this high, deep into the playoffs. Even the most optimistic Commanders fans, I don't think had us going to the NFC Championship game.
Everybody right now cannot see audio, cannot see the video. Earl and Mal have such sad faces.
I'm not sad. I'm chilling.
I'm
vibing, after that
so
L in the college
I'm vibing. I know. That's my thoughts exactly. I'm honestly like, whatever at this point.
I'll state my piece when it's my turn.
Facts.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so anyway, look, we're just going to get into the games here. There's no prediction. I mean, I think I predicted the Commanders to win by 1 point. I was proven wrong because they got more than 1 point. Let's just get into it here.
I said it was a blowout.
Wait a minute now. You weren't that confident last week.
I said this. I said if we control the turnover battle and we control time of possession,
I think Lucas fell into the peer pressure because we were kind of going at him a little bit.
I said that we have a good chance of winning this game, and I said we have a 1 point victory. It was a blowout. It was fantastic.
Yeah, the Lions really.
And Lucas, I told you if they were able to apply something to Detroit, it would put them in danger.
I mean, you were right. They won 45-31, and it wasn't even that close. It wasn't even that close, guys. It was close in the first quarter. That was it. Afterwards, Commanders took it away. I think we scored, 20? Yeah, 28 second quarter points.
Their defense couldn't stop you guys.
Couldn't stop us. Couldn't do nothing.
I've never been impressed with Detroit's defense anyway, though.
Well, okay, in their defense.
I always thought that was going to be their downfall.
They got, 10 players on IR on that side of the
ball?
Probably more.
Lucas, don't you do it.
Yeah,
Hutchinson was able to get the number 1 seed.
That's true too.
Yeah, they
were still able to.
But they were scoring 40 points every game.
And I always said every week that I saw them winning, Goff looked suspect some weeks, and it was just a matter of when he showed up and when he didn't, and the defense never really impressed me. So I kind of had a feeling in the back of my mind that Detroit wasn't going to go too far, and when they had that bye, I was like, the Commanders are probably going to give them a problem.
Look, three interceptions and 1 fumble. That is not the success, way to win a game. Look,
no.
I mean, they've won a 5 turnover game before by Jared Goff against the Texans. Fair enough. But, at the end of the day, in the playoffs, you can't get away with those mistakes, especially by a Dan Quinn coach team that thrives off of turnovers. Earl can speak to that. Look, we got a pick 6 out of there. We got 2 other picks, 1 to seal the half and then 1 to seal the game. Fumble was big on that part too by Jared Goff. Look, I can't. Mikey Stammer still 2 interceptions. Shout out to Mikey, by the way. But at the end of the day here, as good as the defense was forcing those turnovers, and maybe some of them weren't forced, some of them were just unforced errors by Jared Goff. We got to talk about JD5, Jaden Daniels. It's safe to say that I think he's had the best rookie season in NFL history. Is that safe to say at this point?
I mean, Andrew Luck's was pretty good.
But did he get this far in the deep? But did they get this deep in the playoffs?
The Steelers, Roethlisberger as a rookie, they got to the conference finals.
So they
got to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did make it to the Super Bowl.
Well, they did?
I think so.
I think that was the second year. I think
it was the second year.
Year 2, maybe? Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, my point being here is that Roethlisberger had they had a ready-made roster outside of him. They had already had elite defense, everything. We still have a lot of work to do. Look, Terry McLaurin's great. The running back room is average, I would say. We lost an offensive lineman. Shout out to Sam Cosmi. He tore his ACL. He's done. He's probably going to be missing most of the regular season next year, too. Not happy about that. Look, 2 guys really came up to step up. 3 guys. De'Ami Brown, Terry McLaurin, Austin Eckler. They were all, factors in the passing game. Zach Ertz was that, reliant guy there too. Got to shout out him. But look, De'Ami has been a revelation in this playoffs. Second game where he's just gone off. almost 100 yards into this game, 6 reception, 98 yards, long of a 42. He had 8 targets, so he was, pretty effective too. Like Jaden Daniels, I know I talked about it last week. You guys said Jared Goff and Matt Stafford might be playing better than Jaden Daniels. I think this weekend proved that Jaden Daniels was playing better than them. I think that it's safe to say that he's playing the best football in the NFC right now. Obviously, this season he's definitely played the best football, and you can make an argument that in the playoffs right now, who would you rather have? Pat Mahomes probably ahead of Jaden Daniels, but outside of Pat Mahomes,
you taking him over Josh Allen?
I think right now, based off of who's hot, who would you rather trust at the end of the game?
Wait a minute. So the question is,
who's number 2? Who's the second most reliable
in the playoffs right now, or
Josh
the
Allen.
season?
The playoffs right now.
Daniels is playing really good football right now. It's fair. It's a fair argument. All right, I get you there. It's a fair.
Like I said, Pat Mahomes is going to be Pat Mahomes.
Can force 5 turnovers to get you the ball. Shoot, he'd be a top quarterback too,
But here's the thing: he's only had 1 sack in this playoffs. 1 sack.
We're going to see how that is now without Cosby. He didn't even get
sacked in this game, guys. He didn't even get sacked by one of the most blitzing defenses in the NFL.
That's true. I got a question for you.
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Who's going to replace Cosby? Are they going to move some guys around?
So Trent Scott is usually the 6th man when it comes to the offensive line rotation outside of center, obviously. He's a swing guy on the offensive line. He can fill in pretty much any gap you really want him to. Is he elite? No. Cosby's his presence definitely gonna be missed, but Trent Scott is more than capable of being a solid offensive lineman. He's nothing spectacular, but he's a good 6th guy to come off that rotation.
Who's your other guard? Your other guard is Lucas?
No. Cornelius Lucas is no longer there. No. And he was a left tackle. No, it is Allegretti.
Are you confident those guys in Biotish can hold up against Jalen Carter?
Well, that's the real question right? That's the real question. Can our offensive line handle your defensive line? We got a 50-50 split. And I'm just going to say this, okay? First game, we were up 10-7, 10-6 going into the fourth quarter, right?
Against the Eagles?
Yeah.
And you mean the second game without Hurts?
No. I'm sorry.
You mean the first game?
Yeah, the first game.
Yes.
Okay, so going into the fourth quarter, when we know that Jaden Daniels was still recovering from a rib injury, right? And he was limited in his mobility, right? Mm-hmm. Fair enough. You guys won that game. Congratulations. I'm not going to say injuries matter because you know what? Next game, you guys lost it. Despite having a 21-point lead on us, you guys lost them, but you still lost. So, it's going to come down. Kenny Pickett won against the next game. He blew out the Cowboys in the next game.
I'm not even arguing. So, we are here. We're
here.
So,
it doesn't matter. But
so, my point being here is that, if you can't hold a 21-point lead against us with an elite defense, which, by the way, in that game, you guys forced 5 turnovers against us.
Okay, so you think that will happen again, though, Lucas?
I'm saying that I think that I trust Jaden Daniels. If it's a close game, I can trust Jaden Daniels, if healthy, to pull out the win.
Fair enough. He has
Do you trust him in the weather?
He's played in weather games, and I don't think he's played bad in these weather games, as it always converted to a win. No, not.
What's the weather supposed to be like?
That's a good question. I don't know that you're the weather girl, Mal.
I'm gonna look it up.
You better look it up. That would be great.
Well, I'll answer it since it's here in Philadelphia. It'll be 40 degrees on next Sunday. No snow, no rain, no precipitation.
Okay.
It's just a cold day.
38, cloudy.
Okay, well that's doable. That's doable.
It's doable.
We've played in we had cold games too. So look, I'm not.
Oh wow,
worried
Maurice, it's 15 degrees right there. That's cold, man.
But I'm
freezing. It's 50.
My God. Oh, it's 15 here too in Virginia. I don't know what it's like in VA Beach.
It's 5-0 here in Florida. And I'm freezing.
But in the mountains of Virginia, it is probably I went out there and I smelt how cold it was.
That's that good weather.
That's good cold.
It's 22 degrees where I'm at now.
Where you smell
the Mountain Rockies.
Yeah.
When you smell that ice
No,
just
not the
stirring up
Mountain
your
Rockies.
nose.
These are the Blue Ridge Mountains out here. The Blue Ridge Mountains.
Okay.
Yeah, but
all right. But anyway.
Anyway, getting back to the game here. Look, I can't praise Jaden Daniels enough. Look, like Aaron Glenn threw everything at in the kitchen sink at Jaden Daniels. Couldn't sack him once. Like, I don't care if you're missing defensive players. By the way, shout out to that one guy that broke his arm on the first play. Like, I feel bad for him because that was horrendous on the Lions players. Ooh, that was rough. I saw it jiggle when he fell down. I was like, whew. Ooh, that's almost as bad as a Sean Livingston injury. But Maurice knows about that. Earl, I don't know if Mal knows about that, but I know Earl and Maurice know about that. But no, look, I don't know what you want me to say. The guy's elite. He, just want to shout out that somebody in this group put him 31st entering the season on their QB rankings. All right,
you really got to let that go because I told you 9,000 times now that I don't rank rookie quarterbacks until I see them play the NFL.
Jaden Daniels has not only got him. I think it's fair to say going into next season, Jaden Daniels is not only going to be in the top 10 of my QB rankings. There's a good chance he's going to be in the top 5.
Top 5?
It depends on what he does in this game. I think it really depends on what he does in this game. Are you saying that if he makes the Super Bowl that he wouldn't be in your top 5 for next season with this roster? Because let's think about it. If you put any other quarterback in the division on this roster would not be
he's
that
going to have that almost type of same feel that C.J. Stroud had his first year. But he's ascending better in that. Do you think
he's doing better than C.J. did?
Do you think? Question for you. I know this is early. Do you feel like he's not going to have a sophomore slump?
I think that he works we talk about work ethic. The guy's always in at 6 a.m. I think that you have.
So was Daniel Jones.
Okay, just
first guy in the building.
Yeah, the difference is that one has talent, one doesn't. Anyway, he was the curse that got the Vikings kicked out in the first round.
Wouldn't doubt it.
Anyway, point being here is that the guy still has Cliff Kingsbury as his offensive coordinator. I don't think Cliff's leaving this year. I think that a year of continuity, a year of getting better weapons, like Luther Head, who's already tweeted at Jaden Daniels about possibly joining him after getting drafted by the Commanders. That's the guy that we keep an eye on.
You talking about Luther Burden?
Yeah, sorry, not Luther Head. I was thinking basketball.
Luther Burden the third?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. He tweeted out to he responded to a tweet about him playing with the Commanders next year.
Hey, that could be a possibility. Never know.
Could be a possibility. He's a late round projected wide receiver. Anyway, point being here is that we're only going to get better. By the way, we're missing our normal number 2 wide receiver, Noah Brown, too, who had a kidney injury and is out the rest of the year, too. So, all that just to say that
I think your true number 2 is on the field right now.
You think De'Ami Brown's?
Mm-hmm.
I think De'Ami needs to become more consistent. If De'Ami can do this every game, then absolutely. But De'Ami has to prove that he can do this every game. Here's the thing.
Stepping up.
And here's the thing, guys. We still have a lot of cap space going into this offseason. A lot of veterans are going to want to come play with Jaden Daniels, especially on that rookie deal. So even if
name to keep a lookout for, Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, maybe. I heard Garrett
injury
Wilson,
prone.
T. Higgins.
That might be too much. That might be too much money right there. But
they got the cap. We got
the cap space for him, man. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know really what they say here. I'm just happy that Jaden Daniels was able to show up. Our defense capitalized on the Lions, misfortunes. Our running game was effective. Brian Robinson decided to turn back the clock a little bit. Looked like his old self. 15 carries for 77 yards.
He's in his 3rd season.
Dude, no, he looked bad for 5 weeks. He looked really bad. And then Austin Eckler, 6 carries for 47 yards. Look, if our running game can do what it does, look, our offense is clicking right now. We've won 7 straight games. We're one of the hottest teams. I know you said last week that you'd rather see us versus Detroit, but I don't know if you feel the same way now. If I was an Eagles fan, I wouldn't.
Well, full disclosure, we did have a conversation on the phone, and I did mention to you that I want the Commanders to win so we can have home field advantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to come to us
But
now.
the thing is, we've won every game on the road in the playoffs so far.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, Earl. Do you want to go first? Okay. So my thing is with this matchup coming up, and I know we'll get into it later on. Let me go into the analysis of your game real quick, because I was texting you, Lucas, during the game.
Yes, you were, and I appreciate that.
Yo, listen, I had to. So one thing that I really noticed, because I'll be quite honest with you, I watched Commanders games over the season, but not as in depth. Listen, I had a rough season, everybody. Sometimes I just needed to take a break from the NFL, all right?
No, makes
sense.
It's
understandable, okay?
Understandable.
So, but this was the first one that I really sat down and watched from start to finish, full through, uninterrupted. Do I think your offense is extremely dynamic? Yeah. And Jaden Daniels makes a huge difference in all of that. This is where I get worried about Philadelphia with you guys, though. Yes, rivalries are tough and they can go either way, but this is where the issue lies, in my opinion. Regular season, it really goes back and forth because of different situations, different whatever it is. But in this situation, you're going against a really physical, really experienced playoff team with the best running back in the league, and you guys cannot stop the run. Jahmyr Gibbs was running all over you guys. Key to this game, if you even want to have a chance, you're going to have to stop Barkley, and I don't even know if you guys did at all this season. What did he go for, 128 the first game, and then correct me if I'm wrong, Maurice, what was it, 102, 103?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. And that was really because Jalen Hurts went down, and they just loaded the box. So he couldn't do anything.
And especially the link, that is a tough playoff atmosphere. And Maurice, you could probably vouch for this. Those fans are going to be lining up at 5 a.m. when the gates open at 8.
Tailgating, yeah.
And it's going to be crazy, and they're going to be loud. So, I mean, if Jaden Daniels, I will say this, Lucas, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Ready? If Jaden Daniels wins this game and gets to the Super Bowl through the Eagles, I will put him in my top 5 next year.
Okay.
If he walks into the link and he handles business from that crowd, everything, I will give him his full flowers.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. And I really don't want to get into next game analysis until the end of the pod, but I will just say this. If Jalen Hurts has to beat us versus Saquon Barkley because it becomes a shootout, how confident do y'all feel about that? Just think about it. We'll get back to it at the end, but I want to just plant that seed inside your heads now, and you guys can think about it. Earl, what did you want to say?
Oh, I was going to say, Lucas is enjoying that Kool-Aid. Boy, oh boy, he's taking every sip
anymore,
to the tip.
Dude. The guy got to the NFC Championship.
Calm down. I know. You're fine.
So did the Bills every year, but look at where they end up.
Always getting strange feeling in his jelly every time I say
just
something about
debating me whether or
gracious,
not that if Josh... Okay, anyway.
It has nothing to do with Josh Allen. I'm just saying the placement of their team.
Lucas, hats off to your team. Y'all took care of business. When I said that they were going to put Detroit in danger, they did so. The key thing to this is protecting the ball, playing complementary ball, getting the turnovers, and continue to stack points on points. Y'all did that. Y'all were able to get your weapons going. That's great. I told you, Austin Eckler was going to be a difference in this game. He clearly was. I guarantee you, if he wasn't in this game, y'all have trouble running the ball as well as doing more of the plays.
No, Austin Eckler has been a revelation, him coming back off of IR for the playoffs. It's been great.
Right, and I get that.
I don't think we had Austin Eckler for the first... No, we did have Austin Eckler against you guys the first time. Never mind.
Yeah, you did.
Or did we?
You did.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. All right, so who's your player of the game?
Player of the game is Jaden Daniels. I don't even think I need to say anybody else. Guys, the guys... who's playing better? Who's playing better right now?
In NFL playoffs?
Yeah. Who's playing better?
Well, maybe Saquon.
Maybe.
Yeah. Saquon's cooking.
Maybe.
Might be the two best players in the playoffs right now as we speak.
Yo, Maurice, that slow-mo video of his second touchdown was cold.
I think we need to make a poll question about that. Who's been having the better playoffs, Saquon or Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, we can do that. You talking about the video with the NFL Films one?
Yeah, the long one. His long run.
Yeah, that was
cool. That was a good video.
Oh,
and I think on that note...
Yeah, it was lit.
Yeah, I think on that note, let's get to the Eagles game.
Yes, we can get to the Eagles game real quick. Eagles beat the Los Angeles Rams 28-22 at home. This was
snow game.
It was a snow game. Yeah,
I love
that
snow
made it a
games.
little funner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fun. It came down quick too. It's like the second quarter the field was dry, and then all of a sudden, bam, snow everywhere. Saquon Barkley, player of the game. I'm just gonna say that now. He rushed for 205 yards in a playoff game. That's crazy. And overall, this season, he's rushed for like 440 something yards against the Rams in 2 games. The LA Rams simply cannot stop Saquon Barkley. He ran roughshod over them this season. So shout out to them. Shout out Jared Verse. Gave the Eagles a little bit more juice going into the game with some of his smack talk. We appreciate that. Overall, though, offensively, we didn't really do much outside of Saquon. Jalen Hurts got injured, but he came back. But he didn't look as mobile as he did after the injury. That is a cause of concern going into next week. We will see how they practice this week. We'll see if he's a full go. But he's going to play regardless, even if he's not 100% healthy. Our defense, we had 5 sacks. Now, this was a snow game. Players weren't moving around like they should. It was hard to cut. It was a little slower. The ball was slippery. So they had 5 sacks. They forced how many fumbles did they force? It was a lot of them. 2 fumbles. They recovered 1. This was a grinded out game. Now, I will admit, after the Saquon second run, I was highly confident the game was over. So much so that I called Lucas. I said, I'll see you next week, Lucas.
Yes, you did.
And then Becca put something in the group chat. And then the Rams scored a quick touchdown. And it was a 1-score game. They were driving. And it came down to Jalen Carter making a sack, putting them in a long 4th down. And Stafford misfired a pass. And that was the game. But it did get close. It got a little dicey at the end there, which made my heart race a little bit. Blood pressure went up a little bit on that one. But still, we got the win. We're back in the NFC Championship game for the second time in 3 years. Shout out the whole coaching staff. Shout out the whole organization. Because, as they say, the standard is the standard with the Philadelphia Eagles. And, I know Jalen Hurts gets a lot of criticism on social media and on the sports networks. But at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts just wins football games. He puts our team in a position to be competitive each and every season. The last season was a bump in the road. A lot happened, but he puts our team, this organization, in a position to be successful. And, that's all you can ask for. Then after that, chips fall where they may, and then you end up in a championship game. You might end up in a Super Bowl. So for us, the standard is the standard. And this is turned out to be a really good season for the Philadelphia Eagles. Win or lose Sunday, this was another good season. Obviously, I'm confident in my team to win, but I'm happy that we got this far after that complete collapse of last season. So we beat the Rams. Shout out the Rams, by the way. They had a lot going on. They were supporting their fire department, which is really cool. I think the Eagles donated over $250. I want to say not $250. Almost $500,000 to the wildfires there in Los Angeles. They had a lot going on themselves. They come all the way across the country for the Eagles, and they were very competitive. So, kudos to them. But on we go. And that's the NFC Championship game. Sunday, 3 o'clock at the Link. I'll leave it open to you guys.
Let me ask you this. Is there any injury update on Jalen Hurts as of this moment?
No, we will have more information tomorrow.
Okay.
Because they'll start practicing tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know now. But with that said, though, I don't think Jalen Hurts is not going to play this game.
Okay. Are you concerned about the lack of touches that A.J. Brown has been getting in these playoffs?
No, because at the end of the day, he's a decoy. He's a great decoy. And like we mentioned this many times during the season, this is a running offense. Do you agree with that?
I do. I guess my concern is is if Jalen is not 100% and he can't run, does that limit? That's a problem for you guys, right? Because that makes you one-dimensional. Because his passing has not been spectacular. I guess my question is, no, I mean I've already asked this, and I'll save this for the matchup at the end. But yeah, if I was you guys, if Jalen was only confined to one aspect of the game, aka passing, I would be concerned.
Well, I mean, if he's like Mal mentioned, if he's going up against a terrible run defense, I mean, more of the same when it comes to the Rams game. Saquon rushes for 26, 28 carries a game. Jalen throws for 15 to 20 passes. And we will see who defense can hold up. Fair enough?
Yeah, fair enough. Mal, Earl, you got any thoughts?
Not much. I was honestly watching it while I was working, Maurice, and I thought it was over too. And then I came back from serving some tables, and I'm like, "Whoa, what?" I was like, "What happened?" And it's so funny because all the analysts, and listen, I am a sworn Eagles hater. I always will be. It's in my blood. No offense, Maurice. Just the way it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so funny to see the analysts and all of them be like, "Well, if it wasn't snowing, the Rams would have won." I forgot. Did y'all play in the tropics?
No.
Was the Eagles playing in the tropics? And so I saw that consistently over and over again, and it's just funny. I thought that in the beginning you guys had the game completely dominated. They just had a few last minute opportunities, but in the end, I thought it was a pretty good win. And listen, a win's a win. Doesn't matter how it gets done. You're in the NFC Championship game.
People tend to forget A.J. Brown had a 50-yard pass he dropped.
Yeah.
He just completely dropped it. And it has something to do with the elements.
Right.
That argument can go both ways.
It do be like that.
Nah.
But yeah, no matter what, you're here. You're hosting the NFC Championship game again. So worked out.
Yep.
Well, I guess if we don't got nothing else, we can move on. Unless, Earl, did you want to add anything, or are you good?
It's Cowboy time for Earl.
Yes, it is Cowboy, because there's still a lot to talk about, which is a shame.
They don't even get a break. At least I've been able to be
not a shame that we have to talk about the Cowboys, but the fact is that there's so much drama surrounding them that we have to talk about them. Right, Earl?
If you say so. Yeah, before I start with the Cowboys stuff, Mal, we are in purgatory right now. We're about to see a NFC East Conference Championship game. It's a nightmare.
Dude, I was 3-14. I got the number 3 pick, and I got no answers for anything. So I'm not even in purgatory. I'm in HE double hockey sticks, my friend.
Well, I'll just stay in the purgatory area, man.
Well, I'm sorry
I'm
that
in
you're
the seventh. I'm in the 7th ring of Dante's Inferno. I am deep in that bad boy.
Dante's Inferno.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just say hell. Gosh, it's not that big of a deal. But
listen,
I ain't
trying to disrespect the Lord, but I'm there. I'm there, man.
Yeah,
I don't think you can, I don't think saying hell disrespects the Lord. But okay, we're gonna.
Hey, listen.
I do want to point out that
I don't like to acknowledge that terrible place.
Fair enough. But I do want to point out here that now that we're going to face the Eagles, the Commanders are the only team in the division that has matched up with every single team in this division in the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
We have played the Giants. We have played the Cowboys. So now we got full circle. Who's going to be next? Who knows?
And by the way, before Earl Girl goes, this is a great segue. The media has made it well known that in the NFC, the team that hasn't been to a championship game is now the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh,
Take it
the
away,
longest drought.
Since 1995. Yeah, we're the only ones there that haven't been since then. It is what it is.
Wow, I wasn't even born.
I think every team has done it since 2010, besides y'all.
Yeah, it's a never-ending 30-year cycle, and it all comes down to Jerry Jones. And for right now, for what it looks like, nothing is changing at the meantime. But I can tell you that there will be a new head coach with the Dallas Cowboys going into the 2025-2026 season.
Is there a favorite?
Kellen Moore.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it sounds like Kellen Moore is going to be the guy.
Well, I was going to
go
go
make
ahead.
you feel?
Oh my God, Earl, what did we do to deserve this?
It is what it is. But
well, you know what? Yeah. I know what you did to deserve it. You've been torturing me for years, so not you, your team.
Hey, delivering brooms every season. It is what it is.
And you know what? As bad as you are, you still will continue to do that. So don't even worry about it.
But yeah, speaking of Kellen Moore, he was one of the first 4 coaches to interview for the head coaching position. They said he knocked it out of the park. I would not be surprised because he was their wonder boy. The second coach that got an interview was Robert Saleh, and it looked like he might be leaning towards Jacksonville. The next coach was Leslie Frazier. Not sure how that went on interview base. And we just got a 4th coach to interview for the head coaching position and former OC of the Cowboys, Brian Schottenheimer. And one thing that I could see about Schottenheimer, I think he would be a good fit for the head coaching position for now. But I think over time, they're going to try to some way, somehow shape in and add Jason Witten to the mix. And for that, I feel it's unfair for the head coach that's there that potentially will be there. I feel like Jason Witten has to continue to earn his stripes to get to that point, not just to be planted there. I feel that's unfair to the coaches as well as the coaches that Schottenheimer or whoever decides to bring into it. Kellen Moore will not work because his no identity offense is going to put Dallas back to where they were in the earlier part of the years before Mike McCarthy took over. His offense is highly complicated. He doesn't pertain to getting the ball to his starters where the ball is going all around. That also explains why A.J. Brown continues to read a book on the sidelines. If he goes back to Dallas, and I'm part of the mix of the hashtag No Kellen Moore campaign, media wants to bring this dude back, while those who truly knows football do not want him back. It's to the point.
Can I interrupt and ask a question? We haven't heard much on Coach Prime since last week. Is there any updates on that? Or
I was just going to ask that. Like, are we out on him?
I would look towards Super Bowl week.
You think he could be coming out of lefty? Because the headlines, Jerry Jones would love to steal the headlines.
Like,
Jerry and the Cowboys are Jerry and the Cowboys are headline stealers. So what would be the most biggest event during that time? Super Bowl. And right now, Deion is trying to get some contract negotiations with Colorado, and nothing has been set in stone, set to paper. So knowing Jerry, he's really trying to orchestrate this where I believe this is going to be his last head coaching hire. And he wants to leave out on a bang. So if it is Deion, whoop-de-doo, because if they do bring him in and they decide to bring Witten in, I would not want Deion to take the job. Because I would want Deion to bring in his guys for this team. And if they're unable to let him do that, I feel it's unfair to Deion as a whole, especially with how hard he worked to get to this point in continuing to build on his craft as a head coach.
It feels like it's Deion or bust now for the fan base.
If you say so.
No, I'm just saying from outside perspective, it feels like you guys don't want win, and I don't blame you. You guys don't want what's his name?
I would rather
Moore,
take Witten over Kellen if that's
wow.
If that is one situation.
But
and if
Witten hasn't even coached in the NFL or college, has he?
But I can give you all the film footage of Kellen Moore back to QB camp with John Gruden. And I'm going to ask you to explain for yourself on, do you feel like this is going to work, especially as a head coach? Because...
Well, would he be play calling, or is he going to give that up? That's a good question.
He's not going to give up the play calling. He's going to be calling it. So I'm not looking forward to having my receivers run option routes, knowing that that's more a focal point for tight ends. I wouldn't want him as head coach to my receivers overthinking routes where it should be simple for a receiver, where they got to have the same IQ as a quarterback based on anticipation. His offense is based on being aggressively taking what the defense gives him. So the defense orchestrates the offense. He has it backwards. Mm-hmm. And the situation I have with that is it hurt the Cowboys as a whole, especially where you say they had the number 1 ranked offense. It was fool's gold, because when he lined up against a defensive coach that can scheme him, Kellen Moore was in the swivel. He was on skates. I don't want that for the organization. And I definitely don't want that pairing again, because that's going to put CeeDee Lamb back. That's going to put Tolbert back. It might even put Turpin back again. I don't want that. And I feel like Dallas will be better off without Kellen Moore.
Just to tie into your Kellen Moore point, the reason why Maurice thought the game was in hand, because all the Eagles had to do was run out the clock. But what did Kellen Moore call for on third down, Maurice?
Or Jalen Hurts rollout. Now, to Jalen Hurts' credit, he took the sack, which still don't force them to use the timeout. But the fact that he just didn't run Saquon, he might have gotten the first down. The average is like 4 or 5 yards a carry. It would have worked, but he tried to outsmart everybody. He tried to be a genius in that situation, and it almost backfired.
And
just to tie into Earl's point. Yeah.
But I'm going to send y'all some videos to check out, just dealing with the explanation of Kellen Moore, so y'all can at least see what I see and hear what I hear for it. But just to conclude on the head coaching situation, I'm not a fan of Kellen Moore. I could even say I'm not a fan of Brian Schottenheimer. I'm a fan of the Cowboys. And everybody needs to be cross-examined. And if I see everyone else getting cross-examined, Kellen Moore needs to be cross-examined too. Because if you plug him back into this offense, it's going to be bad all over again. I saw a 2021 roster, the best that I've seen Dallas have in years, do nothing, because that kid had so much to work with and failed to utilize all the stars that they had under display. I cannot see that again going with CeeDee Lamb moving forward, and Dak no longer needs to have this dude with him to hold him back. So if you bring in someone new, the best bet will be Schottenheimer, especially with the Texas Coast power offense. I would rather them keep that there. Go get your running back in the first round or second round. You wouldn't be disappointed with it. I would want to see Schottenheimer, but if I could see a dream scenario, Zimmer as head coach, Schottenheimer as the OC, and elevate Paul Guenther as a defensive coordinator. That would be my solid fit for the Cowboys moving forward. They keep their identity on defense. Schottenheimer gets his chance on offense, and that team starts to mesh well. Get the pieces in there he needs and see how it will go. But I also know that Jones got to step away to make it happen, but you can still work with what you're building, especially what Zimmer had done on the defense. I digress.
All right. Mal, you guys made a change in the coaching staff in New York, right?
Yeah, we fired defensive backs coach Jerome Henderson, I don't know how that's supposed to move the needle for me, though. I mean, I guess, whatever. I don't really care. Yeah, that's what, like, I don't even know what to say. Sure, scapegoat him. I mean, yeah, Deontay Banks' development has been horrible. Our secondary is terrible. But, I mean, what pieces did Joe Shane really give him? For real. Like, Adoree Jackson, okay. Deontay Banks, okay. Nick McLeod, okay. Cordell Flott, bet. Like, I don't know what they wanted this guy to do. And what's more wild about it was that they even interviewed him for the head coaching vacancy before Dable. So, whatever. Like I said, it doesn't move the needle for me. If it had to be done, whatever. But
he was most definitely a scapegoat. I mean, they got rid of their best corner, McKinney, last season. What do you think was going to happen?
Safety.
The safety.
Yeah, he's
safety.
a safety, yeah.
Yeah, we got rid of him. And and what's terrible about it is that, like, excuse me, guys, I'm sorry. Pinnock was actually supposed to, like, he was doing well last year, but for some reason his development just fell off. Listen, everybody kind of fell off besides Dexter Lawrence. And I don't know, guys. This is one off season that I'm going into completely open-minded at this point because it just really is what it is. Positive wise, we have a high draft pick. Hopefully we can accumulate more capital, not frivolously spend in free agency. Hopefully Joe Shane doesn't do one of those panic spending sprees that will really set the team back far, because our cap space situation isn't bad. We can do some restructures to even get more. This is an off season that we can actually start. I'm not saying be competitive at all. I'm saying just start in the right direction, because we got no direction right now. None. Absolutely none.
That's a shame, considering they're going to a year 4 off season of Joe Shane and Brian Dable.
But that's a whole nother thing. I mean, that should have never happened. But Mara has he's got a plan. He's got a vision. Says the vision's good. So don't know how good your vision can be when you're that awful. But whatever. Listen, I'm going to try and go into the season and clean slate it, because I really have no choice but to support these guys in what they think they're going to do this offseason. I got to hope for the best. Can't get much worse than this. So if it happens again, it is what it is. At least I'm used to it. But really, really quiet in Giants land right now, as it would be. Can't really do anything free agency wise. We're just all in Cancun golfing. So that's
Fair
all
enough.
I got for the Giants for right now. So we can move on.
Yeah, fair enough. Maurice, it's time for the mailbag, right?
Yes, it is. And we have one question, and it's directed to both of us, Lucas.
Ooh, I like those type of questions.
All right. If you or I, the Commanders or the Eagles, win the NFC Championship game, which team do you prefer in the Super Bowl?
Which team do I prefer? I would like
Chiefs
to see
or Bills.
I mean, look, one team has won 2 championships, 3
in
a row, and 3 in the past 4 years, and one hasn't won one ever. I'm going to go for the one that hasn't won one ever. I think it's the Bills.
Actually, it was the Bills you beat in 91, right?
It was the Bills, yeah.
So that'll be like a Super Bowl, I forget the number.
Rematch, yeah.
It'll be a rematch.
It'd be
I will say this. It would be satisfying to stop a three-peat.
And to get your revenge.
And revenge. But I may sound like a conspiracy theorist. I don't want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl because the referees is the 12th man.
Those referees.
That sus.
So
say the
quiet Mahomes gets, man.
Maurice, say the quiet part out loud, Maurice. Say the quiet part out loud.
They cheating. That's what it is. They cheating.
Ooh, he said it. He said
Not only do they have Taylor Swift devil magic on their side, they have Caitlin Clark magic on their side now. So team dangerous, man.
Wait. What about Caitlin Clark? What's she doing now?
Did you say
she
Ice
was at the
Spice?
game.
She's a Chiefs fan.
Oh, is she?
Ice Spice is a Chiefs fan?
Oh no,
she was there last
Why
year.
am I hung up on Ice Spice?
I don't know.
Come on now, Maurice. You know they got the power of the mouse on their side. You know exactly why doing what they're doing. Exactly.
They got the power of a lot of people on their side.
It's crazy. Like some of the games they had this past season, real quick, they were too close for call. Like you win by at least 2, you win by 3, you win by 4, you win by 3
Weren't
again.
like
That's
all
some
of their games
stuff.
1-possession games?
Yeah, they were.
I
all
mean, they have more
games.
1-possession games than my team does.
The Chiefs didn't score. I don't think the Chiefs scored 30 points this season.
I don't think they did. No,
which
they
is
didn't.
crazy. And then all their home games had some type of conspiracy theory going on with the officiating in those games. So
especially that one ref.
It's going to be very interesting for it. Yeah. So
Chiefs
I don't know.
Fatigue is real. Get rid of them, man.
Absolutely. The only thing that's going good for them is their defense for the most part. But yeah, it seemed like the offense just took a couple steps back. And if I'm thinking of a Super Bowl, I could see one with the Washington team going up against Buffalo. That'd be a rematch because I think the downside for that in that Super Bowl back in 91, that was the year I was born, but like looking at highlights of it, Thurman Thomas couldn't find his helmet on the sideline, and there was a play that they ran that was almost like an RPO that if he was in that game, he would have scored. But it's also a thing where Buffalo could have came back in the game, but they didn't have enough time to do anything, which Washington ended up winning that Super Bowl. So it'd be nice to see a little rematch with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. But them referees need to stop eating that Kansas City barbecue.
Absolutely.
I'll say that much.
Anyway,
we move on.
Earl, it's your time.
Oh, is that time? Oh,
yes,
snap now. All right, let's get it here. All right. It's time for Who's That Football Player?
Hold up. Was that Hold up.
I think I know what it is.
You just did the Green Ranger thing from the Power Rangers. The Green Ranger. Oh my God, this guy. Okay, anyway, continue.
This football player played with the Philadelphia Eagles. Back in the 2001 season, this player had 2 interceptions for 64 yards and 1 touchdown, 10 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 3.5 sacks with 4 tackles for loss, 115 total tackles, 93 of them solo. His career awards, he was a 4-time Pro Bowler, a 1-time first-team All-Pro, as well as a 1-time second-team All-Pro. Mal, as well as myself, who's that football player?
All right, Mal, who do you think it is?
$2001.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God,
that was a great year.
I don't even remember.
I know who it is.
Mm-hmm. How many sacks?
3.5, I believe.
3.5?
Yes, ma'am.
McNabb was the quarterback. Andy Reid was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Think about defensive players. Who was a signature player on that team?
I'm going to go Jeremiah Trotter.
That's my pick, Jeremiah Trotter.
Maurice, tell them the correct answer.
It is Jeremiah Trotter.
I'm very impressed with myself right now. You don't know how far into the brain power I had to dig for that one.
For those that can't see, we're not doing video, but we can see each other. And Mal was getting like a little vein on the top of her head.
Like she was thinking that brain was working.
Because I knew I had it back there somewhere. So
it was on the left side of the brain. You can always count on it. That left side.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am very proud of you, Mal. But let's go ahead and jump to the poll question. I think there was only one this week.
Yeah, it was just a Giants one, and the Giants, they're the Giants, so always something unexciting. Hopefully, maybe that'll change, guys, but I don't know. Cries. Anyway, so what is the most important offseason move the Giants will need to make in order to turn the team around? Build the QB room, address the secondary, add to the defensive line, or add to the offensive line. Maurice made an option E, all of the above, and yes, he is correct. But
Yeah.
most people did say build the quarterback room, and I think that is something that kind of has to be done.
What was the second one on that?
Address the secondary.
Okay, interesting.
That one got 13%, and add to the offensive line got 24%. Build to the quarterback room got 63%.
So it's basically all of the above.
Correct.
Yeah.
Good question. Right. Good question.
All right, cool. So trivia question this week. I think this is a fun one, but a shout out to, there was a lot of people on Facebook that got this right. People on Facebook, you know your Commander/Redskins history. Okay. So Jaden Daniels wears number 5.
My favorite number.
Who were the 2 other QBs in Washington Commander/Redskins franchise history to wear the number 5 as a jersey number before Jaden Daniels this season? Mal, you want to go first? Ladies first?
I gotta dig into the brain power again.
Okay, I'll let you do that. Maurice?
Jurgensen? And...
Wait.
Okay, those are yours too. Mal?
I'm gonna go Jurgensen too.
Okay.
I feel like this is a trick question.
It's really not.
Listen. Do you know Earl?
Earl, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna go Donovan.
He's gonna say it, and I'm
gonna go Donovan McNabb.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Heath Schuler, and I'll give an honorable mention to the late great Colt Brennan.
Yeah, Colt Brennan was only a preseason one. We don't count that one.
I was going to say Donovan McNabb, but I didn't know if he was 15 or 5.
No,
that was the one that stumped me.
Heath Schuler and Donovan McNabb.
Not get that.
That's what I'm saying here, because that was like, I feel like that was a gimme for you, Maurice. And when you said
though, I erased McNabb as a Redskin out of my brain.
It was for one
That's
season,
fair.
and by the way, I came to the one season that I mean, when I was there, when Michael Vick was like, you know what? No, my former starting quarterback ahead of me. No, I'm going to light your team up now.
Yeah, you was at that Monday night game.
I was at that Monday night game. It was my 18th birthday, and Vic was just like, nah, no birthday cake for you. See.
Happy birthday,
no birthday
Lucas.
cake for you, Lucas.
No birthday cake for me. No, it was drizzling outside, and it was just. By the way, I didn't realize how high that stadium was. Those nosebleeds were. Oh my gosh, I felt like I was going to fall off.
All I remember was Donovan McNabb torching D'Angelo Hall.
All right. So anyway, I think we have Earl's prospect of the week, and then we're gonna wrap up with the pregame stuff. Yeah, go ahead, Earl.
Thank you. Alrighty. In the 2025 NFL Draft in the 4th round for the New York Giants, they select Malachi Moore, safety from Alabama. He's 6', 201. He's really good in deep coverages as well as man-to-man coverages, and he can be physical. One weakness he can work on is run support as well as tackling. But overall, I feel like the Giants fans can get over the fact of McKinney and go after and get another Alabama safety that I think could kind of put past McKinney and be a focal point for the Giants. This guy's really good. And if you're able to get a good DB coach in there as well as a solid defensive coordinator to work with that, I think he's going to be a dynamic player for you guys, especially getting him in the 4th round, where I would say he's a late steal.
All right, I like it. I mean, Bowen's probably still going to be there. Haven't heard anything about him.
I thought he was going to go to New England because of April.
I mean, I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know when I do, though.
Okay. So just to let people know, before we get into this like looking ahead to, the championship game, the NFC Championship game, this is not the only time that we're going to be talking about this. We're actually probably going to go more in depth. We're trying to have a special guest come on for both Philly cooking with Chef Maurice and DC Football 101 with Mr. J himself, me. And then we're also going to do something very special for the first time ever, Sunday afternoon prior to the game, probably around 1:30, 1:45. We are going to do a live stream onto YouTube pre-gaming this, and we're probably going to we may or may not have a post-game reaction. We will see. Or we might do an emergency post-game pod. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what everything's going on. We haven't made that final decision yet, but this is not going to be the only time that we talk about this. We're going to definitely talk about this with hopefully some special guests and some familiar face and maybe not a familiar face. But you know what? That's okay. That being said, let's talk about this. I think this is going to be obviously this is going to be one of the most anticipated NFC East games in a very long time.
Yes, that's for sure.
I can't remember a more anticipated game than this in my lifetime. I could be wrong.
In your lifetime, yeah. In the last 25 years or so.
And I'm not just talking about Commanders. I'm talking about for the division as a whole.
Yeah, this is a big game for the division. Big game for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're guaranteed to have an NFC East team in the Super Bowl.
Basically, now, regardless of who wins, we have a 50% chance of changing our names. I know Maurice has been begging for it. Hopefully, and I'm sure he wants it with his team.
13 rings plus 1.
The 14 rings.
No, we might as well go to 14.
That doesn't sound the same. Does that not sound the same?
14 rings.
Yeah.
We got 13 the best
rings
division in the NFL
14
anyway.
Rings doesn't sound right to me, though. I like the ring of 13 rings more. I mean, it's used to. Maybe I'm just used to it now. Not saying that I would be.
You can work with 14 rings.
I mean, I'm sure. Just we have a lot of logo stuff with it now. It's just kind of.
I just got to add another diamond to the logo.
I've said it so far during the playoffs. Commanders need to control time of possession. We need to control the turnover battle. And if Jaden Daniels has the ball with down only one possession in the fourth quarter, I trust Jaden Daniels. That being said, I think there are some keys to victory here. We cannot give up the big plays against you guys. You guys live off the big plays. Like you guys, it's like I'm not saying that you guys can't march it down the field, but you guys live off of like 15, 20-yard gains or like the big explosive like 50-yard play. Yep. But you guys can't really like just kind of like go like
methodically
go down the field. Like that's a weakness of you guys. But if we can somehow force that, then we have a chance here. That being said, I don't know how healthy Jalen Hurts is going to be. He's definitely looked a little rusty in these playoffs, coming back from that concussion.
That's true.
So I still think the Commanders are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a 2-score game, but not 14 points. I think it's going to be within 10 points. It could be 3 points. It could be 10 points. But somewhere within that 3 to 10 point range, I think that's going to be the result. I think the Commanders come out here. I think the Commanders are just a little bit too hot right now. And our quarterback is, there's no question about the health of our quarterback right now. So I think, making you guys methodically work the ball down the field, controlling the time of possession, controlling turnover battle. If we can do those things, I think we have a good chance to win. That's what's been our keys to victory so far. And like I said, we will break these down again and in more detail as the week goes along. But anyway, that's just my general thoughts on it. Maurice, your thoughts?
My thoughts on it is I like that. I think we can control the time of possession. I think we're a better running offense, a rushing offense.
Well, you guys are the best rushing offense in the NFL. There's no doubt about that.
And that equates to winning football in the playoffs.
But I guess my thing is, if for whatever reason we slow down the run enough to where Jalen Hurts has to win the game with the passing game, can he do it?
That is your objective. Your objective is to stop the run and make Jalen Hurts beat you with his arm.
Because if Jalen Hurts beats us with his arm, I'm not going to, there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
Stop the run.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those games where I expect the talent of the Philadelphia Eagles, specifically on the offense, to come alive. Now, we've had the number one defense all year. Our defense is solid. Even though we lost Nakobe Dean, I didn't mention it earlier, but we lost Quinyon Mitchell. But he should be okay for the game. He had a shoulder injury, but he said he's fine. But he didn't play the rest of that game against the Rams. And that makes a difference, too, because at this point, I think Quinyon Mitchell is kind of, sort of a lockdown corner, simply because teams don't pass his way. and when they do, it doesn't usually work out well. I know he had a good game against McLaurin the first game. The second game, McLaurin did score a touchdown over Mitchell. But with that said, though, he's a rookie and he's playing outstanding football. But going back to the offense, if Jalen Hurts, I'll say this. If Jalen Hurts passes for more than 225, there's no chance you guys win.
That's an if. That's an if at this point. It's not a guarantee.
Because I can pretty much guarantee Saquon's going to get $125.
And here's the thing that you guys have to remember. Neither game did you play against us that we had Lattimore in, either.
Lattimore played in the second game, didn't he? He didn't?
I'm pretty sure he didn't. I can double check, but I feel like he did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Or maybe he did. Well, hang on.
I'm pretty sure he did play the second game. But as you look that up, let me just finish by saying, if Jalen Hurts has more than 225 passing, I think it's going to be really hard for you guys to win because Saquon is going to get 120, 125 at least. At least. At this point, he's due for one breakout rush, like 150, 60, 70-yard run. Our offensive line is just too good. All of the talent and everything goes towards our favor. Yeah, you guys have Jaden Daniels. He's had a tremendous rookie season, and I'm giving him his flowers. I gave his flowers weeks ago.
Lattimore did play in the second game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I thought he did. I'm giving Jaden Daniels the flowers. He's having an amazing rookie season. Better than I even anticipated. Now, I still say some of that had to do with the offense, but his poise is something you can't equate to a coordinator. Like he has that poise. He has that that Mahomes. Instead of Becca was calling him interception boy, I'm going to start to call Jaden Daniels mini Mahomes.
You know who he reminds me of? And
mini Mahomes.
Not even Mahomes, but his mentality towards the game. You know who he kind of reminds me of a little bit?
Who?
May he rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. In terms of how he, the killer instinct, how he doesn't, get excited during the game.
Mamba mentality.
He has the Mamba mentality. He has it. He has it.
I'm going to say he's a better polished RG3.
I don't even think... No, RG3 never had the passing IQ that this kid has.
He does have good IQ, too.
I think, he runs, but does he have... He runs because, he doesn't run to get out of, he runs because it's the right choice.
That's why I'm saying he's a better polished RG3. Yeah,
he has the poise.
And he has the poise. He definitely can get out of dodge of danger. So, if you can look back at RG3 when he first started out, his problem was sliding. At least for Daniels, he knows how to get out of dodge. At some point, he'll work on the sliding. But
Daniels doesn't really slide. He tumbles forward. He
keeps going forward. But at the same time, if you're looking at him as a whole, who was the other best quarterback the Washington team had since RG3?
Kirk Cousins.
Can you fully agree with that?
I mean, outside of RG3 before Jaden Daniels, I would say Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I don't think Jason Campbell was there. Dwayne Haskins certainly wasn't.
Donovan
McNabb had a bad season. Definitely better than Sam Howell. Okay, Alex Smith was looking like he was going to have a good season, but then that horrendous knee injury kind of just, no. He didn't have enough games to say that he was going to have a better season.
Well, just to finish off, I'm confident in my birds. Lucas, whatever happens, for the sake of the podcast,
I will talk to you afterwards. For the sake of the podcast, I will talk to you afterwards. But I might not call you for a couple weeks, depending on what happens.
Yeah. For the sake of the podcast, if somehow the Commanders win, I would want the Commanders to win the Super Bowl. This is terrible. To say.
Yeah. Same here. Same
Just
here.
for the podcast sake.
For the podcast sake, because I really don't want the Chiefs to win again. I don't think anybody wants the Chiefs to win.
Mal and Earl are throwing up in their mouths.
I can't look.
I
Lucas,
can't even listen
Lucas,
to
I
you
love
guys
you, bro.
right now.
I love you, man. But for me, I can't stand the Washington team, and
honestly,
even if it's great for the podcast.
No.
I understand.
Now, how about you tell Maurice? How about you tell Maurice who you said you were going to root for in this game?
Go Bills.
No. I'm talking about between us on Sunday.
No, I have to root for the Commanders. I'm not rooting for anybody. I'm not rooting for anybody.
Well,
I'm really not. I'm really not.
Would you want to know who I'm rooting for now, or wait till Sunday?
Who are you rooting for now?
Not the team that I hate the most.
Oh, so Earl's rooting for the Eagles, and Mal is rooting for the Commanders.
I'm not rooting for anybody. Don't put me on the record rooting for anybody. I'm not rooting for nobody.
Both of y'all on the list. Y'all could be tied.
Yeah. I ain't rooting for nobody.
But I'll leave you with this note. I think it's the final score going to be 20-17.
You think it's going to be a low-scoring game? Interesting.
Because I think
the score's going to be 27-20.
That could work too. I just think with them seeing each other twice already, and that kind of leans to some of my questions I'm going to let y'all know on Sunday. But I think for Washington's sake, they got to attack the matchups like they did the last two games, while I see the Eagles doing their thing on defense, but also utilizing that run game with Saquon to do their thing. Now, if Washington can exploit the weakness that's in the defense for the Eagles, that's how they're going to get down for the get down. If the Eagles stance their will to run the ball, they're going to get down with the get down. So utilize your strengths, understand your weaknesses. It's going to be a fun matchup to see.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game.
All right, and on that note, Maurice, how about you play us out?
We really thank you all for listening to the podcast this week. Please consider subscribing to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And also, check us out on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on our videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, our YouTube exclusives, our bloopers, and everything else that's on our YouTube channel. Also, check us out on X, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, and Facebook at 13_Rings Podcast. Until next week, have a good day.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Blessings.